Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'd like to ask you, are you governing fairly? Are you obeying our rule book? Are you crippling our local economy, destroying jobs, and putting fathers and soon families on the street? Did you swear an oath to protect our first law? Are you violating your promise and our first principles? Those principles of equality at creation and Creator-given unalienable rights. Are you stealing those rights with this shelter order? Have you broken our rules? Can the narrative you are miming be stopped in this court on this day? Can you be the leaders we elected you to be? Can you put your foot down and stop this man-made tyranny? The tyranny that after 5 millennia our founders finally freed us from. The tyranny of the natural inclination of fallen man. The tyranny of the Caesars that destroyed Rome. I ask you, isn't this what's happening in Smith County now?
In Greece, there was a man named Solon who urged creation of a fixed body of law not subject to majority whims. But where the Greeks never adopted Solon's wise counsel, the Romans did. Based on what they knew of Solon's laws, they created the 12 tables of the Roman law and in effect built a republic that limited government power and left the people alone. Since government was limited, the people were free to produce, with the understanding that they could keep the fruits of their labor. In time, Rome became wealthy and the envy of the world. In the midst of plenty, however, the Roman people forgot what freedom entailed. They forgot that the essence of freedom is the proper limitation of government. When government power grows, people freedom recedes. Once the Romans dropped their guard, power-seeking politicians began to exceed the powers granted them in the Roman Constitution. Some learned that they could elect politicians who would use government power to take property from some and give it to others. Agriculture subsidies were introduced, followed by housing and welfare programs. Inevitably, taxes rose and controls over the private sector were imposed. Soon, a number of Rome's producers could no longer make ends meet, and they went on the dole. Productivity declined, shortages developed, and mobs began roaming the streets, demanding bread and circuses from the government. Many were induced to trade freedom for security. Eventually, the whole system came crashing down. They went from a republic to a democracy, and ended up with an oligarchy under a progression of the Caesars.
I implore you, since we now have a cure, the hydroxychloroquine, I implore you to release this shelter-in-place order and get us back to productivity.